How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at an all-new issue number 1 of a horror comic. This one's entitled Night Walkers. It's from Source Point Press, but also written by Cullen Bunn. If you guys don't know, Cullen Bunn is a really great modern horror comic writer. A lot of people know him for Harrow County. He also wrote The Empty Man, and he did a lot of other cool things like writing a ton of Deadpool and stuff. But yeah, I really like Cullen Bunn, and you show me an all-new indie horror comic from Cullen Bunn, yeah, I'll check it out, see what it's about. And overall, this is a pretty cool story. You get a group of people who are in a drug rehabilitation center. When all of a sudden they're sent to bed early, they wake up the next day and the staff has abandoned them, and there's some kind of creature-based apocalypse going on outside. That's a pretty cool concept. Several things about it, you know. The main character has a troubled home life. You know, her father's rich, but she can't quite regain that inner peace, and it talks about how she's bounced in and out of this place several times, and we get a horrific dream sequence implying a lot more has happened. And plus, this is one of those books where, you know, you have your main character, but then the creature will show up and violently kill people you thought might have been mains, but nope, they're dead. So it's kind of got that feel of you don't know who's going to live or die and who's going to get their head ripped off. And also, it's a creature that looks really creepy, but we don't really know too much about it. It's violent and will rip you to shreds, but you know, it's not a zombie book. It's an apocalyptic scenario that's not a zombie book. It's called Night Walkers, so I assume they only come out at night, but we don't know at this point, you know, what are their weaknesses? How do you get around them? Where did they come from? Are they aliens? Is it some kind of curse? I mean, I look at this looks like a vampire book. I don't think it is, but what if these are mutant vampires or something? We really don't know, and that's good to keep you guessing. But it's got lots of apocalyptic tropes that I like, you know, the idea that you're going down, the world's abandoned, you heard a little bit of murmur about something yesterday, but you don't know what it is, and then you know, go in and you see just everybody gone. You know, cool setup. So a cool setup, characters that I really do think have potential for longer plot arcs, and what exactly is this apocalyptic world and the creatures that cause it? What's up with them? So I really am curious how the rest of this book turns out, and it is just an opening chapter. It is just a little bit of an opening slice, so you really don't get to know too terribly much right off the bat. It's a good setup, but you know, this is one of those things that if the trade's out, probably just buy the whole thing. You know, obviously when I'm recording this now, it's not, but if you're watching this way in the future and it is just going from issue 1, I'd say, yeah, just probably want to buy it and see what's up with this. So this is definitely a book that I have hopes for. It's an interesting hook right off the bat, that classic apocalyptic setting, but with new rules and characters, and it seems like there's potential, and also good grimy little horror art with really moody colors, you know, really cool. Anyway, without further ado, if you guys do want to see a little bit more of this book, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys a little of the story and a little of the art. I'll try to be avoiding major spoilers, but that being said, for issue 1s, it is harder because a lot of it is set up, but I'll try not to go too far. Anyway, without further ado, I'll show you guys more, so let's switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Night Walkers, book number 1. Let's take the cover up close to the camera, it's one of those nice portrait on the lower high, you know, I think like, Rosemary's Baby and Malignant had posters kind of like this, right? But we see the needle dripping, I'm guessing it's either blood or drugs, into her mouth, and she actually does have the fangs there, which is kind of odd. That would imply, like I said when I first saw this, I thought it was a vampire book, but unless that's gonna come up later, they never say that she's a vampire in this story, so maybe it's metaphorical, maybe it's trying to draw comparisons between her and the creature, I don't know. There we get the really cool Source Point Press logo, and book number 01, rated mature. Yeah, there is a bit of gore in this book and some sensitive topics, and we get the credit line there. I also want to say, this cover, pretty cool, Source Point Press logo. Flip it to the back, and we get the cover inside the Source Point Press logo. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, OO, issue 1, first cover and printing, $3.99 standard comic price nowadays. Anyway, if we flip it open, Nightwalkers, and we get the sort of simplified version of the cover. And yeah, the paper is kind of thin, so you can actually see through it. And I guess I should say that some of you, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, you can actually see through the cover into the first set of pages because it's so white. Now that being said, the ink does not come off on my fingers. That's a good thing. The pages do feel strong enough, but it is apparently thin enough that I can see through. So that is a thing, and then when you open it up, I really wish for issue 1 they had flipped this around and lined it up with the front cover so you didn't get that problem, but that's just me overanalyzing things. Anyway, credit line written by Cullen Bunn, art and cover by Joe Bocardo, and colors by Colin Johnson. We get a bunch of the other credits there. Hustle and Heart Horror. I wonder, is that a Source Point thing? Is that a Cullen Bunn thing? I don't know what company that is, but okay. Anyway, after this, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the story. I tried to avoid major spoilers, but like I said, issue 1 is primarily setup, so I'll be skipping over pages and panels with a lot of information in them because I still want to make sure that it's worth you guys reading this after I do a bit of analysis. So yeah, I'll try not to go too terribly far, but that being said, yeah, issue 1 is a lot of setup. So anyway, we open up with this nice artistic image, a single drop of blood on the white ground, soon turning into rain, and now we have a red ground. That's cool. Either a metaphor or something that will happen in the future, I don't know. But we get our main girl there, and she's talking about that whole, can you go home again? And for her, it's really hard because whenever she tries to get her life together, she winds up going back to this place, and I think it's her 3rd time in there, and she's having trouble getting off the drugs and returning to a normal life. And it talks about she missed group, and this guy is going to lecture her, and she says, "You're not gonna kick me out. My dad's really rich, and you need me as sort of a cash cow, so you're gonna just not complain whenever I do something like miss group, you know?" So we can see that there's a relationship with her father there. But anyway, the patients find the doctors talking quietly among themselves, and it turns out they have to go to bed early tonight, which they're all going to grumble about, and we get one of those nice little hinting panels. We should warn you, the footage you're about to see is disturbing. What's going on outside? Why are they sending the patients away for the night? Well, that's where we get this fun dream sequence. Her, and then on the other side of the sheets, a younger version of her, needle, blood, and then a bunch of stuff like, if this doesn't work, I just give up, and we're gonna get you the help you need. And then, who is that with all the teeth? Is that just a weird nightmare, or did this actually happen? So we get hints of the main character's past. That is a pretty cool image of the other her floating underneath the sheets there. And yeah, it does leave you wondering. But then, of course, she wakes up, and she's like, it's 9:34, both too late and too early. You know, didn't quite sleep in, but slept in enough to miss your morning stuff. But they go, did they forget about me? You're supposed to be up at 7, breakfast at 7:30, exercise at 8, and this place is super regimented. Why would that happen? Well, it turns out that all the people are gone, and now it's just them alone, and they're locked in the rehabilitation center. So they don't know, they panic, they try to figure out what's going on, and of course, one of them's going to smash the glass with a chair, and most of them will leave. But your main character says, you know, I don't think we should, and they say, we think you're the first person who would want to leave. Why don't you? And she says, something's up. It's probably dangerous out there. And we get this nice motif across the top of these few pages where you see it getting darker and later into the day, and this guy says the phone and the internet's down, they don't know what's going on, and she's obsessed with one of the guys cut his arm walking out, and she apparently has a strange relationship with blood. I don't know, maybe the cover was right, maybe she is a vampire. But they're all there talking late into the night about what to do when they hear a voice that isn't one of their own. So yeah, creepy idea, someone interjecting in the middle of the night, who's showing up, and of course lots of violence and gore. Now, there's the staple, and the staple is usually the line I draw to try to, you know, not go too far into the comic, you know, and I only go past it by a little bit usually. But that being said, the creature's reveal is kind of the big stuff for the surprise of issue 1 and seeing what all it is. That being said, I know some of you, when determining whether you want to read the book, want to see what the creature looks like, so I guess if you guys really want to, I'll show you guys just one quick panel with the creature in it. But if you don't want to see it, feel free to pause it here. But there is the creature grabbing someone's neck, and little white alien-looking thing. Pretty cool, and yeah, this thing does go to town and mimic human voices, but does it really even know what it's saying? I don't know. But overall, a cool concept, and I'll go ahead and flip to the back and show you guys there is an ad, February 15th, 2023, Nightwalkers Book 2, so hopefully I can check that out. Hopefully it's pretty good. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should probably be my Cullen Bunn playlist. If you guys want to see more of my reviews of his stuff, I have a review for issue 1 of Harrow County, and I also covered a really good comic of his, The Unsound, which is kind of underrated. Definitely would check it out. I have reviews for Basilisk and other good Cullen Bunn stuff in there. Definitely working on growing that. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Cullen Bunn playlist will be here on the bottom. Have a good day now.